Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show in which it pays to be economical with the truth. On David Mitchell's team tonight, the lead singer and founder of the Happy Mondays, who made a fortune in the 90s, mostly from the Tooth Fairy. It's Sean Ryder. And a comedian who quit his job as a builder to do a comedy show and never went back. I've had builders like that. It's the star of Murder in Successville, Tom Davis. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, the funniest thing to come out of Germany since... Anyone? No? Henning Wehn! And a Radio 1 DJ who plays the very latest in house, garage and techno-funk. I listen in whilst driving to my bowls club. It's Clara Amfo. And so to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with. And it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Henning is first up.
For 3 weeks, I carted an empty box around without realising that what I bought wasn't actually in it.
David's team.
Right. What was it? What did you imagine it was?
What it was a... No, don't let me lie. It was there was a plastic Christmas tree.
That's what you thought was in there?
Absolutely.
For 3 weeks.
But that's something you open quite quickly after buying it, a Christmas tree.
No, it's about the suspense, isn't it? Christmas is all about suspense, and...
I don't think it's all about suspense. Yeah. Because, in general, when you buy a box that you think contains an artificial Christmas tree, you just assume that it does. You don't go, oh, I wonder if it's really in there. Because if you're seriously wondering if it's really in there, you'd check before you left the shop, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe I'd chosen my words not very wisely. Some of it got lost in translation.
Where did you buy it, by the way?
At Argos.
As you left the shop, did it not occur to you that it was quite light, this box?
Yes, but what... Yeah, but now it gets interesting. No, because shortly before that, I'd started doing yoga to increase my... to improve my core strength. So I didn't think any of it. I thought in such good physical shape... I can lift that box without it straining me.
The queues at Argos are huge.
Yeah.
How long was you in the queue for?
For ages.
So it was a few weeks later that you opened it, ready for Christmas. Nothing was in there. What happened next?
Well, I kept the box, didn't I?
So you went on to have this Christmas without a Christmas tree in your flat?
I actually, believe it or not, I did use the box instead of the Christmas tree.
As a tree?
Because there was pictures of a Christmas tree on the outside.
The saddest Christmas ever.
I have one further question.
Yes?
Why were you carrying this box around with you for 3 weeks?
When I say I didn't take it to social occasion, I didn't say to them, do we want to go down the park? And then the box at what, end of November? Far too cold. So,
I did not ask you whether or not you socialised with the box.
I tell you what, I took the box into town with me on one occasion. I went all the way into Leicester Square with the box.
Why, on the occasion that you were going into Leicester Square, did you take it with you?
That is a very good question, David. Yeah. And I shall give you the answer. Because the box and I were going to do a comedy show.
On how many journeys did you take this Christmas tree, other than the one from Argos to your flat and the one from your flat to the comedy show in Leicester Square?
Can we just keep it a bit lighter? He's not up for a war crime.
on this occasion, anyway.
David, what do you think?
What do you think, Sean?
I'm sort of having it, a little bit. Because anything you buy from Argos, even if it's a big wardrobe, it doesn't weigh anything when you walk out with the box.
Are you an Argos man, Sean?
I used to be.
Really?
Big time, yeah.
What stopped you?
Fame.
Tom?
I think he's... I mean, it's a
Sort of.
ridiculous story. But, I mean, he's a canny fella.
So, shall we go for true?
Yeah.
True?
Yeah.
We're going to say true.
All right. Henning, truth or lie?
This story is true.
It's true. Henning did cart an empty box around for 3 weeks. Sean Ryder, you're next.
I have trained my cat to wink.
What kind of cat do you have, Sean?
It's just a black cat.
And how old is this cat?
I've had him about 5 years.
And was he a good student?
I thought he was.
Has anybody else ever said the cat's winking?
When you say it, Henning, we're in dangerous territory. It might be better if Lee represents the team.
I will say it. So tell me how you teach a cat to wink.
Right, you look at the cat and its eyes get bigger and bigger and bigger, and I try and do these mind games with it as though I could speak to it through my mind,
Yeah.
and it'd wink and stuff, so...
So you would wink and it would sort of copy you?
Yeah.
Were you doing anything like gently prodding it in the eye?
No, it wasn't... No.
Would you then reward him when he did your bidding?
Well, I would. He'd sort of get up and go make a cup of tea.
What do you mean he went and made a cup of tea?
He'd sort of get up off the chair and he'd go in the kitchen and stand near the kettle. So that was my sort of thing to think that he
So
wanted
you jump
he
up on the
wanted a drink.
countertop near the kettle.
And I'd make him a drink.
What would you make him?
Well, tea.
Hot tea? Are you sure this was a cat and not like a,
No, it was a cat.
friend or a wife? So how long did this cat wink for? Was it a whole year winking?
No, he carried on winking until he got run over.
And what... Tell me he wasn't practising in the streets. What if I close my right eye now? I wonder if I could do both eyes at the same time.
What do you think, Lee? Is this true?
I think it sounds entirely plausible, start to finish.
I want these two gentlemen removed from the studio.
I truly believe that you did see your cat winking to you, or at least you thought you saw it.
But to be fair, he didn't say, I once think I saw my cat winking. He said, I taught my cat to wink. I can't get my cat to poo outside.
If you can't get your cat to poo outside, you should have a look at the flap.
I've just been doing the Sean method. I gave him a set of keys and said, come and go, Japan.
All right, we need an answer. What's it going to be?
All right, Clara, so you're saying it's true?
I reckon he's telling the truth.
OK. Henning?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm very much doubting it, but I've got to go with my team if it's a...
If I were you now, I'd be very worried at the standard of my team. Sean, truth or lie?
Absolute garbage.
Oh.
Yes, it was a lie. Sean hasn't trained his cat to wink. Clara, you're next.
OK. I was grabbed by security after sticking my finger in Pharrell's belly button.
Now, David Pharrell is a popular singer. You might know him from his songs Happy or Get Lucky, which he did with the Daft Punks.
Daft Punk.
Pardon?
Not
Daft
plural, Daft Punk.
That's what I said.
Can you sing it? I've got no idea what it is.
I'm up all night with the sun. She's up all night to have fun. We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky.
I need to get you in the live lounge.
I don't know what that is, but fine.
The live lounge is the penultimate room in an old people's home. So you put your finger in his belly button.
Yeah.
What happened?
I just happened to be in the same room as him one night.
That always happens to me when I'm in the same room with someone. Just walk up, stick my finger in their belly button.
Yeah,
Some cultures, it's just hello.
exactly.
What was the room?
It was a party room.
So were you talking to him at the point you did this? Or did you just sort of charge across the room, index finger at the red?
Do you know?
I'm doing it!
Is it a way?
Dressed as a knight on the back of a horse. Then you lifted him out.
He's a little man, you know.
Can we see how it happened in that sort of...
Sure.
Just reenact it.
Lee, do you want to be
So-
Pharrell Williams for us?
We're
just,
in
just
the
imagine you're a
pool.
multi-platinum selling artist,
Yeah,
respected around the globe.
there you go. So you're
You're hanging out.
Okay. He's a bit more...
I've never seen him keep still. That's all I've ever seen him do.
OK.
What was Pharrell doing at the
He
time?
was just being Pharrell.
Well, what was he doing? Was he making a pot noodle?
He was entertaining his guests. After,
Entertaining them?
Yeah.
So, an Irish fella walks into the pub. That kind of stuff.
Tony Cooper.
Oh, OK.
And then I'm dancing.
I'm not dancing.
Dancing and then...
I don't like that song. Ooh!
All right, if you want to get back in your seat. So there we are. She's brought it vividly to life.
So, poke, ooh.
Yeah.
Then how long before the security hand goes on your arm?
I'd say it's about 10, 15 seconds.
10, 15... Now, in that 10, 15 seconds, what happened?
My arm was kind of grabbed.
No, that's at the end of it. The 10, 15 seconds before the arm grab, after the ooh, what happened?
Don't forget the poke. It's
Poke.
Poke, yeah.
Ooh. And you say...
Can we all do it?
There's-
Ready? After three.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Poke. David, look, you have to accept the fact she was up all night to have fun. It's as simple as that. Now, what are you going to say?
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
I'm going to go lie.
You're going to go lie, which means I have to make the decision. I'm going to go lie.
So, Clara, truth or lie?
True.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Bill. Henning, what is Bill to you?
This is Bill. I once bought an Irish accent mouth spray from him because I genuinely believed it would give me an Irish accent.
Clara, how do you know Bill?
So this is Bill, and when my chair broke, he let me sit on his back so I can interview Nicki Minaj.
All right. Finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Bill?
This is Bill. I had to leave my life drawing class when he walked in, disrobed, and I realised he was the man that sold me my sausages.
There we have it. Is Bill Clara's spare chair, Henning's spray seller, or Lee's model mate? David's team, where would you like to begin?
Henning.
Henning Vane.
So explain the thing about this spray.
Bill has actually got a shop. And I walked past his shop and I saw Irish accent spray. And I hadn't written a decent joke in a long time. I thought, well, let's get that spray.
So when you say you saw Irish accent spray, what do you mean?
Like, well, it's like a helium balloon.
It's a balloon.
No, it's a spray, but it changes your accent.
Instead of making your voice more high-pitched, it
Yeah.
makes it more Irish
Irish.
accented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, mixed with the accent you've already got, God knows what that could do.
And what shop sells this? What shop?
Like one of them that you have got around Camden.
Bill's got a shop in Camden.
Yeah.
And his best product is a spray that makes you sound Irish.
Well, I didn't buy all his products, so I can't rank them.
Well, let's get the genre of shop clear. It's a sort of joke shop, is it?
Well, you call it as derogatively as you want.
By joke shop, I don't mean a risible shop. I mean a shop that sells joke items like whoopee cushions and...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fake blood and... that
Sounds
sort of
right.
shop. And when did this happen?
The best part of 10 years ago, say.
Was there a reason you needed to sound Irish?
No, it was just I thought that's another string to my bow.
Did you... So what... How did you imagine it being used in your stand-up?
Maybe if I tell a joke where Irishmen go to the pub.
Do you know a joke where Irishmen go to the pub that you could tell in your current accent, but you could mime the point at which you would have sprayed your...
It would like go, there is an English fella going into the pub and says, "Oh, jolly good morning, my good fellow."
Right.
And then...
Wow, and he didn't even have any spray for that.
Jolly good morning.
So you don't need to spray.
And then
You can
not
do
for
it.
English, not for... And then, and then Irishman goes in the pub and then I spray.
Yeah, OK.
And then I go, top of the morning.
Who would you like to ask next?
Clara? Who's Nicki Minaj?
So Nicki Minaj is a rapper.
There she is. My God, that's Sue Pollard.
Oh,
Nicki Minaj is a singer, basically.
Nicki Minaj is a singer, a rapper, one of those modern types.
In what context were you interviewing her?
I was interviewing her at a big festival.
So like
Yeah,
at
in the
Glastonbury
summer.
or something?
No, it was at Radio 1, actually. Big weekend, yeah.
And was it just on radio, the interview? Or
It was a red button situation as well.
So there were cameras as well?
Yeah. All eyes were on us. Obviously, she's like, you know, the main attraction, the big star, so I gave her, I guess, the better chair. I suspect people knew my chair was a little bit dodgy, but thought it would, you know, survive the interview. It got a bit creaky, and then one of the legs snapped off, and lovely Bill here was doing the sound, and then we only had about 5 seconds to go before we were going to go live. And then, yeah, Bill came in.
One thing you could have done is conduct the interview standing up.
Yeah, but, you know, you go with what the artist wants, and if she wants to sit down, I'm going to sit down.
How long was the interview going to be?
About, I think it ended up being about 6 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes.
You
Yeah.
said
It's a long time to stand,
I
actually.
mean, I'm
6
guessing
minutes.
Bill's...
Bill definitely looks like he fixes things, or leads, or
Yeah.
wires,
Yes, he-
cameras.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's sturdy.
It's a long time to be on all fours with someone sitting on you.
I reckon I could take you for a minute.
Yeah, try that out. Tom, sit on David.
I am not going to embarrass you. I'm going to put
Come
Tom
on.
on all fours and put you on
Yes.
his back. Let's give it a go.
We can all sit on it. It'd be like a
Look, you're gonna
sofa.
see.
Be gentle, David.
Clara, talk us through the...
Do I have to come down lower?
that
Are you all right?
position.
Yeah, a little bit lower. Yeah, there you go.
This is a lot harder now. I'm in a crouch.
No, that's what Bill did.
You want to do
Go
some
on.
more yoga, mate?
Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
So where should I sit?
Yeah, right in the middle there,
Right there?
facing me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Facing
about
me.
this.
Yeah.
That's all right, David.
I'm going to
Facing
lower
me.
myself quite gently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask Sean to be a footstool?
Very gentle, very gentle.
I'm basically keeping most of the weight on my own knees.
No.
Oh, my God, my knees!
Sit back a bit.
What are you doing? Bill?
No, see, Bill didn't do that. And I definitely didn't sit anymore.
David Mitchell, Tom Davis.
Yeah, so as you can see, that's easy to do.
That is not easy to do. David, well, you know.
Clara is not as heavy as David. She's not let herself go like that. I mean...
I will say one thing.
Done.
That on a grassy terrain,
Yes, that
it'll
would
be a lot
easier.
easier.
It would.
I'm slipping all over the place. I'm sorry I let you down, David. When we come to your house at Christmas, if you're looking for another chair, and I'll do a better job, as long as you've got carpet.
David, would you like to move on to Lee?
Yeah.
Lee.
Yes, David.
So why were you going to a life drawing class?
Because I just decided that I wanted to learn something new because I've not been big-headed, I've cracked everything else.
Yeah.
Why nudes, though? What was the attraction of the nude human form? You could have focused on fruit.
I do a little bit of fruit as it goes, but I wanted to expand.
So that's
As I
why...
was Bill. I just found naked men do that for me. I wanted to expand my repertoire. I'd cracked the fruit. I felt that when I kept showing my wife, and my wife would say, "No idea." Then one day she went, "Is it an orange?" I went, "Yeah." She went, "It's time to move on."
And so you left your wife.
So I left my wife.
How many of these still life classes had you done before Bill popped in?
I'd probably done about 7 or 8.
How's Bill looking under there,
Say again?
body-wise? Bill, has he got a nice body, or...?
Has he got a nice body, naked?
Yeah.
I'd say he's firm. Yeah.
Sturdy.
Sturdy. I said to him,
Sturdy.
"How come you're so firm?" And he says, "Well, you try being in a chair every 3 weeks."
And you knew it was Nude Man Week.
Oh, yes, they told us. They said next
Yeah.
week we're doing Nude Man.
Then you found out that your butcher was a nude model.
Not straight away, no.
Right.
He comes in, he teases you a little bit.
Right, yeah.
He comes in with a robe, he takes his belt off slowly, hangs it up like that. Then he turns the other way and he might do a little bit of a stretch. Then he drops it so you see his, may I say, pert cheeks. And at this point, I'm thinking, right, I should be able to do this. Got my pencils out ready. And then he turns slowly. And that's when I saw it. The face of Bill, the man who sells me sausages.
Right.
So did he recognise you? Was it mutual?
Well, he just had his eyes fixed forward like he is tonight. But as I passed, he had a look on his face like he was going to say, "I'm doing discounts on burgers on Saturday." He didn't do it. He's professional. He stopped himself like that. And it was awkward. So I simply got dressed and went home. Did I not mention that bit? I say life drawing, it was a car park and he was in a Ford Fiesta.
We need an answer. So, David's team. Is Bill Clara's spare chair, Henning's spray cellar, or Lee's model mate?
I think we need to ask, are you absolutely sure that one of them is true?
Yes. Yes.
I think in the radio situation, I think they probably could find a chair or standing up. There's a better solution than for 6 minutes sitting on a human being.
What about Lee?
Well, it's just that's not true.
I've got to say that he's literally not moved. He's not shown any emotion. Now, if I'm going to draw a man naked, I'm going to draw Bill.
What do you think, Sean?
I've just got to go for Bill being sat on...
You think Clara?
No, I'm changing my mind now because he's German, so he could possibly believe about a spray wound.
Right.
Have you just noticed now that Henning is German?
Just a second, yeah.
So you think Henning now?
No, I'll stick with Clara.
Stick with Clara, and you're sticking
I'm
with
going to go with
Lee.
Lee, yeah.
You see, I think it's Henning.
You think it's Henning?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We're going to go Henning. Yeah.
OK, Bill, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Bill, and Henning bought an Irish expressway.
That's what you bought, Henning, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah?
And you genuinely
We have
thought it
one
would have an
that's
effect
open.
on your accent?
of some description.
Lee, let me give it to you. It didn't work on Henning, but might work on you.
I don't think you gave me the right one.
Thank you very much, Bill. Thank you. Which brings us to our final round, quick fire lies. And we start with... It's David.
I once hired a jet ski, but
Lie. Forget it. We need to hear no more, David.
I once hired a jet ski, but couldn't work out how to stop it, so had to buzz around the bay for 50 minutes until it ran out of petrol.
I take it back. You did.
I can so imagine you doing that.
Please,
absolutely.
team.
So where was this?
It was in Antigua.
In Antigua.
Was this in your single lads days?
He never had those days. It's your first time on the show, isn't it?
It is.
Why were you in Antigua?
On holiday.
Was the Winchester Steam Museum shut? Why would you choose?
I arrived at the Winchester Steam Museum and it was shut, and so I went straight to Antigua.
When was this?
I think about 2 years ago.
And who were you with?
My wife.
And what got into your head? I could imagine you renting a sun lounger and opening up a weighty tome. I could imagine that. But I can't see you saying, now you relax here, I'm just going to go and bomb around the bay for a while.
Were you with your wife on the jet skis, or did she stay on dry land?
She stayed on dry land.
So you were on your own going round?
Yeah,
you weren't
yeah.
with other people?
And it
just
was
you?
your idea?
Look, I thought I'd have a bit of a go.
What were you wearing, David?
Sort of swimming shorts.
What length were the shorts? Were they sort of Daniel Craig, or...
They weren't as long as Daniel Craig.
What do you wear?
Like shorts. I said swimming shorts. They've got a pocket. They've got a pocket. They've got a pocket, and they've got netting on the inside to keep everything in order.
All right. You jump on, you're looking back at your wife. Ah, look at me. And then what happens?
Well, to be honest, I'm not like, look at me at all, because I must say, as soon as I get going, it becomes immediately apparent to me that I don't like it.
Oh, no.
Hang on, here's a big question then. You did it until the petrol ran out, did you say?
Yeah.
So, did you manage to time perfectly that the petrol had run out just as you got back to the jetty?
No.
So you were stuck now in the middle of the sea?
Yeah. What I didn't do is head straight out away from the coast. At the point where my plan formed, I thought I'll just go up and down quite near the jetty, thinking I'll be able to swim to the jetty if the worst comes to the worst.
So what happened then? You just
it.
kept going, and then eventually it coughed and spluttered.
Yeah.
Talk us through.
Well, I kept going, and then eventually it coughed and spluttered. Into a hole.
All right. Lee, what are you going to say?
What do we think?
You have a great physique.
You've got to warn me before you say things like this.
A great physique for what?
For maybe, I don't know, a game of billiards or Cluedo.
Yeah.
And I don't quite think that jet skiing is completely your thing.
I agree.
I don't even think he has ever been to Antigua.
So you're saying lie, you're saying lie.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's a lie.
You can say it's a lie.
Go with the team.
David, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Well, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that David's team have won by 3 points to 2. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Stephen Mangan has already promised tonight's Have I Got News For You is sure to go with a bang. Well, here's the guest host next. Then a barrel of laughs with Jack, Victor and Bootleg Booze doing the rounds and still game at 9:30.